Hey y'all, I'm Ian Harvey, massage therapist. These are my PJs. Today we're going to be doing some abdominal self-massage. I'm primarily making this video for my fellow massage therapists, especially ones who are considering going back to work for the first time in a long time, and for those who have gone back and things still feel a little bit stilted. I personally have a little bit of fear about stepping back into that massage office for the first time, about getting back into that environment. Like, will I remember what to do? Will my hands know what to do? But whenever I've taken a break in the past, the answer to that question has always been yes. My hands remember, my body remembers. There's a little bit of a speed bump to get over, but typically I find that I kind of come back better than ever. So today I want to talk about abdominal self-massage as a way of allaying some of those fears, as a way of showing you that you still got it. And I want to get you back into that headspace of applying peaceful, conscientious touch. By the way, if any non-massage therapists are watching this and you just want to learn how to do some nice abdominal self-massage, welcome. Glad to have you here. I do have two disclaimers though. The first disclaimer is if any of this hurts, if you have any discomfort or you have any negative side effects in this abdominal region, then either go slower, use even less pressure, this should be very gentle, or stop altogether. This should not hurt. Second disclaimer, if you have new symptoms in your abdomen, if you are having new digestive stuff or new reproductive stuff, if you are having pain that you haven't had before, then don't try to self-treat. Go see your doctor. But if you're familiar with what's going on in this area, if you just like to do some nice soothing work, then welcome. To begin, I recommend that you find a nice place to sit and a nice place to slouch. If you want to lay down, you can do that too. I'm going to stay standing for the camera's sake. This first technique is just a laying on of hands. All we're doing is placing one hand below the belly button. My belly button's about right here. One hand below, one hand above, and we are just cradling the abdomen. Allow your hands to mold to the shape of your unique abdomen. Don't try to force it to be anything that it's not. And just breathe. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, or however you want to. And as you breathe in, allow your abdomen to distend. Allow it to poke out. As you breathe out, you'll find it contracting again. And the reason I like this exercise, and in fact the reason I'm making this entire video, is that I was doing this on my own abdomen a few weeks ago, and I noticed myself just instantly judging myself. I immediately started thinking about my subcutaneous fat. I started thinking about the hair on my abdomen. I started thinking about my scars. And I realized I don't have to do that. In fact, I can go in the complete opposite direction. And the word that occurred to me as I was doing that was sanctuary. We can provide sanctuary for our own bodies, for our abdomens. We can provide safety and non-judgment. When I think of the word sanctuary, I think of protecting something or someone from the outside world. And that's something that you can offer your clients, That's something that you can offer yourself. And as you think about providing a sanctuary for your abdomen, just see how that changes this experience. See how that changes your touch, and see how that changes how you receive that touch. For me, I find that it's easier to let go of these abdominal muscles, to allow them to be soft, when I know that there's no judgment. And that's something that we can always offer ourselves. Just a safe force field against all the craziness of the outside world, where you don't have to jump to judgment, where you don't have to be any particular shape. You can just be yourself. And that's something that you can provide your clients. You can do it non-verbally, just by being in this headspace and allowing your hands to do that talking. Or you can write blog posts, you can say these words to your clients that however your body is, that's perfect. And gently and slowly, float away. We're going to float forward. And despite how gentle that was, despite it just being a laying on of hands, I want you to feel your abdomen. Feel if there's a difference here. For me, it just feels a bit freer. And it's nice. I like it. I feel more relaxed. I should do this before every video so I don't have to throw so many takes away. These next few techniques are going to be directly on skin. So that first technique, that laying on of hands, you can do that anywhere. You can do that at your office. You can do that just relaxing. But I do ask that you do it mindfully. Don't just keep a hand here all the time, because that could easily be a form of guarding. And I want the opposite. I want you to find a way of giving yourself permission to let your guard down. So, bring that spotlight of your attention onto this area for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. And think about that concept of sanctuary. For these next few techniques, grab your favorite lotion or oil. Just use a tiny bit. Just enough so that your hands can barely slide past each other. So just a tiny little dollop. I went and got some jojoba oil between cuts. And so just this much, not much at all. And then expose your abdomen to all of YouTube. You don't have to do that, but I'm gonna. And then we're going to start in very nearly the same position. We're going to cradle the abdomen. We're going to breathe down into the abdomen, and this time we're going to allow the hands to go in opposite directions. So this lower hand is floating to my right. This upper hand is going over toward the left. And breathe with this. Don't use much pressure at all here. This could even be feather light. And you can do continuous loops of this. Just skip this upper hand over your lower forearm and continue those circles. We call this the sun and moon stroke, which I think is pretty. So after doing a few revolutions, this next technique is just to push. You're going to place your hands high up on your lower ribs. We're going to be working with this outer strip of the abdomen. So not right on this rectus abdominis, but just to the outside. Make contact with this skin along these lower ribs and give them some traction downwards. So I'm pressing them down toward my feet. Again, very gently. And just slowly, slowly making my way down. Notice that if you take some slightly deeper breaths up into your rib cage, that you'll feel a little bit of pull on your abdominal fascia. And this is something that you can use during sessions. You can invite your client to take some slightly deeper breaths up into their chest, and that will do some of the work for you. That will change the feeling of the massage. For this next part, you can travel all the way down to your pubic bone, so your abdominal muscles, your rectus abdominis, inserts on your pubis. But I'm not going to go all the way down there for propriety's sake. Continue breathing. That will continue pulling that fascia up in the other direction. And that will give you a kind of stretch that you can't really do on your own. It's something that can only be easily achieved during massage. Then we're going to pull in the other direction, this time going up this middle strip. Again, you can start down here near the pubis. I'm not going to. I'm going to start right here. So grab all of this tissue. I'm taking my subcutaneous fat for a ride. I'm dragging it up toward the top of my head while continuing to take some nice, easy breaths. And while I'm here, I might as well talk about working with hair. I don't even notice my hair right now. And that will be the case for a lot of hairy people. The follicles tend to not be very sensitive, and so they don't worry about them. They're not really aware of them, so you probably don't need to worry either. But that's something to have a just brief little conversation about. Hey, can you feel me pulling hair? Done. Easy. And as I approach these lower ribs, I'm again going to start taking some nice deep breaths up into my rib cage. And just realize that you can continue these strokes up as far as you want to. You can continue them up onto the sternum. And that this is some great work for working with those muscles of respiration. But again, for propriety's sake, I'm going to stop short. And slowly float on out. There is, of course, more that you can do here. Something that I like is to apply some gentle pressure in this time. So just 3-4 pounds of pressure, not much at all. Just enough to barely displace the abdominal contents, just a bit. And then breathe. I'll do that for a minute or two. And then I'll breathe my hand out. As I inhale, my hand comes farther and farther and farther away. And then repeat on the other side. So I'm kind of truncating this part a bit. And massage therapists, as you press into the abdomen, do use your clinical judgment. People at home, maybe leave that kind of thing up to your therapist or have that conversation with your therapist about working more deeply than this surface stuff that we've been doing. And again, float on out. Okay, now, feel how your abdomen feels. Feel how your breathing feels. I find that after I do a good 5 minutes of work, 6, 7, 8 minutes of work, that my breathing is a lot easier, that my abdomen feels softer, it feels more comfortable. And for someone like me, someone who tends to walk around with quite a bit of anxiety, this can be a direct way of interacting with that anxiety. We're working with nerves that interact directly with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're a massage therapist and you're headed back to work soon and you've got some of that fear about it, try some of these techniques and get yourself in that headspace of being back in your massage office. Imagine applying this massage to someone else and realize how gentle it can be. How even if you've got masks between you, how even if things are a little bit crazy on the outside, this can still be a place of sanctuary. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, or if you have techniques that you like for your own self-massage routine. Consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.